Okay guys, today I want to talk here about like one of the secret thing that I use in my entire career that in my opinion was the thing that made the most difference for me to win all the tournaments. And guys, this is a tip for who is competitor, it's not like for who does jiu-jitsu for hobby. If you do jiu-jitsu for hobby, you don't need to do that. You can even do it, but you don't need to. But for who is competitor, I think that was like the 80%, the 20% of things that I did on my career that generated like 80% of the results. Guys, I'm not gonna say every day, but 80% of the days I was training, in the end of the class, when the class finished, like let's say the class was like 12 to 1:30, okay, 12 p.m. to 1:30. When the class finished, everybody would go rest, everybody would go home, would go shower. Guys, I would try to do 3, 4, or 5 more rows of 5 or 6 minutes. So I would try to row for 30 or 35 minutes more after the class finished. And to make it even worse, one thing I would do it, I would try to row with people that are fresh. So for example, let's imagine I was training at Marcelo's. As soon as the train finished, I would call Mateus to row with me. And then when I finished training with Mateus, Marcos Tinoco was resting, I would call Marcos. Then as soon as I finished training with Marcos, I would call John Satava, and John Satava was already resting like 2 rounds. So I would try to do this almost every day. So especially like when I was younger, when I was like 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7. By the end of my career, like last year for example, I was all beat up, I had a bunch of injuries. I was not doing that as much. But that was one thing that I would pretty much like every day make a words brackets. And like I'm gonna row today during the class with Mateus, John, Marcelo, Gianni, Mark. And then after the class, I'm gonna do 4 extra rows with Mateus, Marcos, John, and Gianni, whatever. And same thing when I was in Sao Paulo. I would row like during the class with like Léo Nogueira, Sergio Moraes, Dimitrios, and all these guys. And after the class, I would try to do like 3 or 4 more rows while people were resting. Guys, that was a huge deal in my career. Why? First, because I got tapped a lot. Every day, there was not one day that I would get out of the training that I did very well in training. I would every day get beat up in training. People would pass my guard, get the mounts, take the back, get submissions. But that would make me very strong mental because I knew that the reason I was getting beat up was because I was training more than everybody. And then when it was time to compete, I had that in mind. I had that like, man, I probably train more than everybody. I gotta win this tournament. And I would never get tired because I was actually like rolling more than everybody. So that's one thing that I always focus on my career. I always see a lot of people talking about training 3 times per day, 4 times per day, 5 times per day, doing 3 drilling sessions per day. That was not my formula. My formula was like training twice a day, but training at least one of those 2 trainings as hard as I could, doing like 5 extra rows. And then at night I would train a little easier, and then 2 or 3 times per week I would do physical conditioning. That's it. So probably like in the end of the week I did like 12 or 13 trainings during the entire week. So like 5 days I would do twice a day, and 2 or 3 days I would do 3 trainings counting the physical conditioning. And then when I started getting a little older, I started decreasing this a little more. So I was doing probably like 10 class, so like 8 jiu-jitsus and 2 physical conditionings and maybe 1 more wrestling or something like that. But that was always my secret, was always to try to row more than everybody. And try to row when I was very tired. And I would not even care if someone tapped me. Even if the guy was blue belt, purple belt, and he tapped me, I would not care because I knew that during the week I was training more than everybody. Even if I would row with one blue belt in the first row, I was fresh and he tapped me, that would not bother my mind too much because I knew that during the week I was training more than everybody, so my body was already tired. And then when it was time to compete, I had all that thing inside me. I had like all that stamina, all that endurance that I was training really, really hard, that I would not get tired. And that's it. Guys, nowadays I don't train like that anymore. Like now I just do jiu-jitsu for hobby. I'm retired of tournaments, so I focus on the online stuff we are doing for BJJ Fanatics, and I'm focused on my school and on my students, so I'm not training that hard anymore. So it's even a little weird to talk about that to my students because I don't think talking is the best way. You gotta show, and I'm not showing anymore. So that's one of the reasons I'm making this video as well, like to keep it registered how I used to train. And I feel very comfortable about talking about it because everybody who saw myself training during my career saw that this is true. Like all my coaches like Fabio Gurgel, Marcelo, Ricardo from my hometown, and all my training partners, they know that I'm not lying here. So that I just want to make this video to help you as well. If you're trying to compete, trying to take it serious. And if you do Jiu-Jitsu for hobby, you can try to use the same form as well, doing some little extra rows and trying to train more than everybody else. But I think that's not the main goal. If you do Jiu-Jitsu for hobby, the main goal is to have fun and to keep learning Jiu-Jitsu. I hope it helps, guys. Oh, hey guys, make sure to subscribe here on my channel. I bring all these best videos, best tips, and I hope you subscribe and can keep watching. Os.